One thing about us South Africans, we don't mind to explain it once again. Not that we're explaining ourselves, but to explain things again so that they can sink in. Now, we have a new country that has decided that we are taking South Africa to court for compensation of lost property that was abandoned because people had to repatriate, or they were voluntarily repatriated. And okay, Nigeria, this is the game you want to play? Because I am sure as tomorrow will exist, Ghana wanted to do the very same thing, and then they came across a hurdle. And you know what hurdle that was, Nigeria? The rule of law in South Africa. Yeah, you see, the country that you try to make a banana republic, oh, it turns out to have the rule of law that you guys have been working so hard to bend it so that you can get away with murder. Oh, South Africans were like, not on our watch. Now, let's start from the beginning. It's the same thing that I'm going to tell you what I told the Ghanaians. And when the Ghanaians realized that we don't have a case, they decided, okay, fine, you win, South Africa, you win. But they are still trying their level best to try and find a loophole-ish nyana. And that loophole closes itself every time they try to poke into it. Now, the spokesperson of Nigerian Foreign Affairs, whatever his name is, comes out with full chest to say that Nigeria is planning to sue South Africa for compensation for all the properties, the businesses, loss of income, I don't know, all the other lists here or stuff that you're like, a Nigerian did all of that? Nah, it couldn't be a Nigerian, because you are speaking about people that come to South Africa legitimately and have legitimate businesses that pay taxes to the South African government. Oh, he even mentioned something about some of them were paying taxes. And then you have to ask yourself this question, but they had to beg to be repatriated for people that are business people. And you've been in South Africa for over a decade. You can't afford a plane ticket back to Nigeria? Now, I will tell you why they cannot afford a ticket back to Nigeria. That's because most of them came to South Africa in 2010, the FIFA World Cup, and they never left. They thought that, oh, I'm just going to disappear into the crowds and then I'm going to establish myself. Little did they know that their nature, they can't help their nature. You know that nature, right? Disrespect, crime, and just running a rampage in a country that does not belong to them. Why? Because they know very well that they are undocumented. You can go complain to the police until you are blue in the face. Not only they've built relationships with police, literally bending the law so that they get away whenever a South African comes to complain. Do you know how angry the South African police service gets at a South African when they come in to open a case against a Nigerian? You will be treated like trash. Like you, the one who committed the crime against the Nigerian. How dare you? That's because the South African police service are in the pocket of these Nigerians. They did not think that South Africans, in as much as we have long patience, we do have a breaking point. And we are at that breaking point. I mean, look what happened on the 30th of June.
This particular compensation, on what grounds?
Nigerian nationals have experienced losses as a result of the ongoing protest. The missions, Nigerian missions in South Africa, our High Commission in Pretoria, and the Consulate General in Johannesburg have been meticulous enough to constantly giving out timely informations to make sure Nigerian nationals don't come into direct confrontation with the protesters, as the case may be. So far, we have Nigerian businessmen that have reported to the missions that they have locked up their shops to avoid confrontation with the protesters. Some have abandoned their sources of livelihoods, as the case may be. To the Nigerian mission, especially for those that are leaving South Africa, have started the process of documenting the businesses that they've been operating and the business they've been operating to get necessary details of what they are leaving behind. So we have decided that we have a concrete data, verifiable evidence of what they have been doing to sustain themselves in South Africa, paying taxes to the government, as the case may be. The Nigerian government will decide to engage the South African authorities to press for compensation.
Yeah, we reached that mark. So they did not bank on it. And now, like the cowards that they are, they got big mouths on social media, but when we say come to the streets, bring that mouth to the streets, you don't see them. You don't see their big mouth. And the countrymen and women who have never been to South Africa have a certain image of us. And this is where it exposes the lack of education, the mental health issues, the just lack of humanity. South Africa is a community-based society. Individualism, we don't even know what that is. That's because we grow up and instilled with the spirit of Ubuntu. Umuntu ngabantu. I am because you are. And that is something I would admit is one of our problems after the government. Because the government, whenever it wants to beat us into submission, it says, what Ubuntu is this? Tina si have Ubuntu. Aksibon Ubuntu lobu. Ubuntu this, Ubuntu that. And that is why South Africans are saying, well, since you are weaponizing our Ubuntu, we've decided to suspend it until further notice. Oh, suddenly now the president of the country is like, no, that's not Ubuntu. We're like, sir, are you listening? Because clearly you're sitting on your ears. Like with every other thing that we tell you, you are bringing back this Ubuntu that we're telling you we have suspended it until further notice. He's clutching on his invisible pearls and he's like, what is going on? South Africans have woken up. That is what is going on, Mr. President, and your friends on the international, on the African continent. You call them sister countries? No, they're Nigerians. They're Ghanaians. They don't, because you are speaking from the point of view of a community-based like the point of view of community-based, they are individualistic. That is why instead of talking for other Africans in South Africa that may be going through some hardship, because South Africans have woken up, they'll say Nigerians. Only Nigerians, not Ghanaians and other nations that are in South Africa. No. Because they are individualistic. They are not like us. But let's come back to this case because I want to ask some questions to the Nigerian spokesperson or the foreign ministry of Nigeria. So in South Africa, like I said, we have the rule of law, and our rule of law has branches. We have the Constitution, we have criminal procedure codes, we have labor, we have property laws, we have road laws, we have laws for everything. Sometimes I even ask myself, why don't we have a law on oxygen? How much of the oxygen we can actually breathe? Because we're quite regulated in this country. And there are some laws that are very strict in South Africa, like land and property. Because I see in this demand, for some reason, y'all believe that those Nigerians that were repatriated from South Africa owned property and land. And the question will be, as a foreign national with strict property laws in this country, how did they acquire them? Oh, hijacking is not owning a property. When you hijack a building or somebody's house, that's not ownership, because in South Africa, and I'm not going to use the entire process, but I'm going to take some key processes to obtain a house in South Africa. But because these houses they are talking about that they have left behind and they need compensation for, they are hijacked. In South Africa, if you intend to purchase a property of any kind, there are some rules and laws that need to follow. Number one, that property, whether it's a skyscraper, or it's a house, or it's just a plot of some sort, you have to go to the municipality, give the municipality the address and everything, and say, I'm intending to buy this property. I want to know, what is the status of this property with the municipality? What the municipality is going to do, it's going to allocate an investigator. I forgot what they call those investigators, an evaluator. And that evaluator will go to this property and do some investigations. Number one, that the evaluator is going to look for is, how much does this property owe the municipality in rates and levies, you name them. That includes water and electricity. That's the first thing. The second thing, the structure of this property. Is it livable, or it should be condemned? So those are the things that they will look for. And then they will evaluate how much this property is worth if it would be put on the market. And that's when you come in with your interest to purchase that property. And municipality has told you, oh, this property owes 100 Rand in rates, it owes 20 Rand in water, it owes 10 Rand in electricity. So the owner of that property cannot sell that property to you until these are settled. Because you need to start on a clean slate. You know why you're going to start on a clean slate? Let's go through the process so you understand why you start on a clean slate. Now you have to find a conveyancer. A conveyancer is a property lawyer. Or you can go do this through property agencies. They call them realtors or real estate agencies. They know realtors, and it's quite easy when you are going through that route of real estate agents or realtors, whatever way you call them. And then, my dear Nigerians, the process begins where the person that is selling the house to you will submit all the documents. Remember, I told you the evaluator will do some evaluation and check how much this property owes. And then all this documentation will be sent to the conveyancer to make sure that you are not going to be in trouble with this house someday. And then from there will be some kind of a contract between the seller and the buyer. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties because they're too technical. Let's say at the end, you are satisfied and then you begin to pay for the house, either through a bank or you are going to do it through the real estate agents. Pay whichever way you're going to pay. But in most cases, it's going to end up you paying through the bank for X number of years. Usually it's between 20 to 25 years, sometimes even 30 years. You pay what you call a bond. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that buy these houses for cash, but in South Africa, we would look at you like this, like, did you go through the Reserve Bank first? And did SARS say hello to you? And did you interact with them and clarified everything? And if everything is cool, then yeah, that house would be bought in cash. I don't know if you understand, because it will involve a whole lot of authorities. It will involve the Hawks, SIU. It's going to involve SAPS, intelligence, you name it, if you buy property for cash here in the country. But not all will be like that. Please get me right there. So now, let's say everything is great, and now it's time of what you call transference of ownership. The owner of the house that you just bought will now have to hand over what you call a title deed. Now that title deed is in your name now. That means you own this property. But if you are doing it through the bank withholds the title deed until you are done paying your bond. But let's say you bought it for cash, like a Nigerian would. That means upon the end of this purchase, your name now is going to be on the title deed. And this is where you are free now. It's your house. And if anybody does something to your house, you have every right as a homeowner or a property owner to take them to court. Maybe, like for example, you ran away from South Africa fearing for your life because of xenophobia. And now you are afraid to come back to South Africa, but you know you have property that you went through the legit channels to obtain it. Yeah, I think there you do have a case. You do have a case. But is the case against South Africa though? Yeah, exactly. But how is it possible, Nigeria, that your people that you know very well, they are criminals everywhere? I mean, evidence is there. Nobody wants you in the United Arab Emirates. Nobody wants you in Qatar. Nobody wants you in Vietnam. Nobody wants you in Seychelles. Nobody wants you in Mauritius. Nobody. Should I go on? Yeah, that means they are criminals. These countries do not trust Nigerians. So I think I am safe to say that, number one, those Nigerians that got repatriated voluntarily, something isn't right there now, is there? It couldn't be that these are Nigerians that have legit traveling documents. Because if they had legit traveling documents, and with all the monies that y'all are talking about, that you want us to compensate you, they would have bought their own tickets back home. They would have used the Nigerian passport and exited South Africa. Oh, they would also have had a legit visa that they have obtained from South Africa to allow them to come into the country. And then when they say, oh, things are getting heated up here and I need to save my life, they buy a ticket back to Nigeria and they fly themselves. Not through voluntary repatriation, because you know what that screams, right? I came to South Africa in 2010 and I never left. And my passport, well, I don't even know where it is. But because South Africa is such a country that the laws are not followed up by those who actually supposed to be enforcing the laws, I'm just going to live my life. Build a life, make a family, steal buildings and properties and all of that stuff. And that is why 700 and how many Nigerians that have been repatriated so far, none of them were legally in South Africa. So now, when they are demanding compensation, on what legal ground? On what legal ground? And those that have been in South Africa legally, I mean, they can still run things from home. If they truly have legit businesses that actually pay taxes to the South African economy, then they can remotely run business from back home. And because they are legally entering South Africa back and forth, what stops them from coming back? Because South Africans don't have a problem with legal foreigners, meaning you legally here and you legally travel between or to and fro South Africa and your respective country. Why would you seek compensation when you do have that access to South Africa at any given time because your papers are legit? So what is this about? Are y'all being drama queens? Is that what's going on? I asked the very same thing about the Ghanaians and they folded because they forgot one thing, that minister, the liar, Blakwa, that all his people that were repatriated back to Ghana, except for about 10, they were illegally in South Africa. So which court that is going to turn an illegal action and legalize it by coming up with a ruling that favors the application? Do you see, even that itself doesn't make sense legally and also logically? But do you guys see there's something wrong with you guys? Something is fundamentally not right, because a person that is right in the mind, they wouldn't even went on any television station to spew that illness. They wouldn't, because they already know the facts. They already know the facts. And the facts are those Nigerians that were repatriated from South Africa and many more that remain behind are illegally in South Africa and doing illegal activities, crimes. And because Nigerians are stubborn, they believe by seeing. They're like Thomas in the Bible. They believe by seeing. And then when something happens, they want to tell the whole world, a Nigerian has been unalived in South Africa because he refused to leave. Drama queens. And these are men. Your country is underwater. But I have not seen not even one Nigerian influencer creator talking about the infrastructure of your respective country together with Ghana. They're supposed to be livid that the people of Ghana and the people of Nigeria, respectively, you guys are filthy. And then you wonder why God left your countries. Remember, cleanliness is next to godliness. Especially you Nigerians and Ghanaians, you should know this better than anybody because you are so religious, like super religious. Those floods are not just an expose about how filthy you are mentally. You just take dirt and you throw. What about waste management? Whatever happened to that? And on top of that, because you guys keep poking at God's country, South Africa, God had to shut your mouths. God was like, yes, some floods, leave my people alone. Because South Africa is God's country. When are you going to learn that? When are you going to learn that South Africa is God's country? You bring the same attitude to South Africa. Look at all the areas. Hillbrow, once upon a time, used to be a very world-class city. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Then y'all came. It's like a war zone. It's like a war zone. You go to Berea. Berea is a mixture of suburbia and apartment buildings with beautiful parks. Those parks are it's dumpsters, because that's who you guys are. Yeovil, unbelievable. filthy to the core, the city of Johannesburg. And we're talking about our central business district. Chased away all the important businesses out of the city because you guys are filthy. Filthy. Disgusting. And that is why when you set up your cameras and you talk about South Africa, nothing but filth that comes out of here through your mouth. Because it's a norm to you guys. That also goes to show why you are coming and saying South Africa owes us compensation. And we are going to take South Africa to court. Filth. No acknowledgement of whatsoever. That our people, they need to learn to go to South Africa legally. And when they get to South Africa, they must understand that they are Nigerians. And whatever they do there, they represent the name of Nigeria. Had they had a mentality like we do, no country, including Vietnam of all countries, would ban Nigerians from entering those countries. Because you're filthy. Filthy. Again, there are Nigerians that I'm not thinking about because they're not like that at all. I just wish they were not Nigerians. I just wish they were not. But hey, it was God's plan for them to be Nigerians. But they are peeling themselves off that madness. They are saying, I'm a Nigerian, but I'm going to hold my countrymen and women accountable. I love that. You're asking silly questions. What have we done? What have we done? Nigeria, oh, what have we done? Y'all are filthy. That's what you've done. Filthy mindset. The floods have exposed the real people you are. Filthy. So if you want to take South Africa on, bring it on. We cannot wait to entertain the clowns that are going to be coming to town. Yeah, Nigeria. We can't wait for you to come and make your case. On the basis of what? That's the part I'm very interested to hear. Anyways, I will leave this video right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Nigeria, we look forward. And Uganda as well. Shame. And I'll see you guys later. Enjoy your Friday. Goodbye.